Alright, next episode. Let me get, didn't have the camera set up. So, I have basically completed everything as far as the engine is concerned. Got the battery charging. I was hoping to have this video include a first start, but my battery is pretty foobarred. Tried writing a tune to it, and it just, even with the charger on it, it just died out. So I'm gonna let that charge for a little bit, and maybe later today I'll mess with it again and try to write the tune. Right now it's not recognizing the Silverado ECM, so it's kicking all the anti-theft stuff on and doing a bunch of weird things until I get this thing deleted and get it ready to start it up. So it's kind of where I'm at right now as far as that. So picking up, trying to remember where I was at on the last video. So I have everything installed. So we have our upper radiator hose clamped in. I don't know if I covered it in the last video, but this is actually a hose from I believe a 2006 Sebring, and it's actually the lower hose, and I had to cut sections off. I think I did cover that, but that's mounted. The lower is mounted, clamped in. Have the transmission lines tightened to the hardline adapters. I do not have the belts on. I'm waiting to get it started and running. I don't want to run the water pump dry, and I also don't want to run the AC compressor with no Freon in there. I did another leak test on the AC system, and I think there might be a leak. I set it, I got 30 inches of mercury. About 2 hours later, it was still holding, but I left it overnight and I lost it on the low side. I don't know if there was enough in there. It might have just been either leaked through my gauges over a 12-hour span, or something's going on with the low side. The high side stayed at 30. I don't know what the deal is, but I did install the new AC condenser. So maybe some issue with the way I connected that together. I don't know. I've got some UV dye coming, so once I get that and kind of get this thing running and situated before I install or put new Freon in there, I'll do a 15% leak test, shoot some dye in there, and see if it actually is leaking or if it's some issue with my gauges. I'll probably do another leak down test just to kind of play around before I do any of that. So I just kind of got this sitting here. I don't have this clamped just quite yet. I don't have the mass airflow connected, but that's how that goes. But I've got a couple clamps. I ended up running this over the top. I just had so much going on right here that I figured it was a lot easier. Plus it makes this connection a lot cleaner. So that's how I ended up running that. It doesn't look too bad. I wasn't so sure about having it kind of loop over the top of the motor, but that's fine. We'll have to deal with it. Fuse box is in. Fully screwed in there. Alternator wiring is ran underneath the vacuum pump. Got all the vacuum lines ran. I think I've shown this in another video. Right now I just have this looped around. I haven't installed the catch can. I have the plate, but I just haven't built the bracket for the catch can. This is a little tighter than I originally thought. I wanted to be able to mount it and take the bottom of the can off to empty it, but I'm going to end up having to just I'm going to put 2 screws here holding a bracket, and I'll end up just having to take the 2 screws out, pull it up to empty the catch can, but I got one with a dipstick, so I'll be able to kind of monitor that. Not too big of a deal. I did put oil in the engine, so the engine has oil. It seems to be holding. I haven't seen any leaks yet. Got oil in the filter as well. Here's the steam line. So I had a couple extra of these AN hose fittings, so I decided to use those to kind of guide the steam line. Comes underneath here, goes into the steam port. You know, it doesn't really hit anything. It might hit that, but we'll see what that looks like after a couple 100 miles. I did have to get a clamp here. I don't know why. This fitting wasn't getting that super tight. So yeah, I think we're pretty much everything is done up here. I got the evap line ran to the fuel return. Everything's plugged in. Throttle body's plugged in. I think this is map. Yeah, that's map. All that's plugged in. Everything's pretty much zip tied where needed. So yeah, pretty much the only thing left under here is the belts and catch can. I am thinking about putting my winch controller right here. So once I get the catch can mounted, and I could tighten this bracket up, because I'm going to have to take it on and off to get my holes and everything. I'll start mocking up and see how the winch controller works there. We've got our starter cable. Hook this is the fuse box back in. Battery back in. I don't have the battery tied down yet because I plan on getting another one. I think that's everything up here. Let's see if we have anything down here. Don't really think I have anything down here. We have the oil filter. I am just going to run this for a first start. We got the hose clamps for the coupler. Lower radiator is attached. Transmission lines. Everything back there is good. I do have a lot of things still unplugged as far as the front diff locker's still unplugged. I haven't pulled that yet to rebuild it. O2s. That's what's hanging right there. That wire there is plugged in. That's to the transfer case on the... there's 2 plugs on the transfer case. So that's what that is. They just had a ton of excess. I haven't tidied that up and tied that up in place. Alright, let's go. Let's go over to fuel. So I ended up going with here's kind of all the purple. And you can see where they all stripped right at the ends there. I don't know what happened with that, but I ended up going with gold, which I like a lot better. But I ended up flushing those out before I started messing with the computer. Oh, I actually have a little bit of a leak right there. So go ahead and tighten that up. But yeah, we got that ran. Put the shifter on. If you remember from a previous video, this is actually from the Colorado 8L90. And then this bracket, and then I modified it, you know, cut the top off. But yeah, that's mounted. That's pretty much it. So far, hopefully next video will be a first start. That's what I'm going to kind of be working on right now. check for leaks and everything from the oil and the trans. I think I'm going to have to fix, I have a leak right here. You can kind of see. I might try tightening that first, and then if that doesn't work, I'll have to pull this hard line off. I've got another one of those, so it's not too big of a deal if I need to replace that. But yeah, hopefully next video will be a first start. I'm trying to think what else I haven't covered. Good shot of the oil lines. Yeah, I'll go ahead and end it here. If there's something that somebody catches and I missed, go ahead and leave a comment, and I'll get it in the next video. Alright, see you guys on the next one, hopefully starting this beast up.